All right, I'm back. As promised, we're gonna get this subwoofer working here. It hasn't been working. It's been getting goofy. I wasn't really sure why. If it's because of the signal processor, because of the amp, because of the head unit, something like that. I'm using the factory head unit in this just because I wanted to go with that stock look, that clean stock look. So I have audio controls signal processor under the passenger seat, a Pioneer 5-channel amp under the driver's seat, some Polk Audio internal speakers, components up front, coaxials in the back, and this JL 10-inch W3. But lately it's been all kinds of whack and not working right. So I did a little troubleshooting, and for that I had to take the driver's seat out. You can see right now the Pioneer amp underneath where the driver's seat would be if it wasn't out. I removed that first because I figured it would be easier to isolate everything in the system and just send a known good signal to that amp and see, if it works, play it for a while, see if it works sustainably. And I did that by way of using a head unit that I had out of my old car that I'm not using right now. Just it's this old little Sony one here. It's got RCA outs front, rear, and sub on the back. So if I power it up and hook up a phone to it and a playlist going, I can send the signal from that directly to my amp in the car. And as long as the power is on in this car, it would play everything through the speakers. So I did that, and I let it play for a little while, probably like a half hour at pretty high volume, just to really stress test it. Because this problem kind of seems to be related to after it's being used for a while, heat related, something like that, where you really got to give it some stress tests to make it show up. Before, it was like just the sub channel was sort of cutting out, or it sounded like just the sub was cutting out, and that was just upsetting me really bad. So I did that test by hooking the Sony up to this, ran it for about a half hour. It worked, actually fairly well. There was a couple times where it sounded like everything cut out for just a split second and then came right back on. But I kind of chalked that up to like maybe a bad USB cable or a dirty USB port on my iPhone. That happens all the time, and it just makes a bad connection and has little intermittent issues. So then I decided, okay, let's hook up the signal processor and the whole signal chain from the original system inside the car back up to that amp, and see if maybe it was just my settings and maybe it's all good. I did that. It started to cut out even more than what it was doing initially on the test, where it was just a split second. It started to cut out for 2, maybe 3 seconds and then come back on. And it started to happen more frequently after me running this amp for about, 40, 50 minutes, real hard. So it was getting pretty hot, I guess. And this time though, when it cut out, I was sitting here in the passenger seat, and I looked over at the amp, and I noticed that the protect light was on and the power light was off when it cut out. Then those two states changed when it came back on, and it kept following it like that. So then I pretty much know that the amp is either blown or on its way out. I mean, it's not totally blown. It makes sound, but it's really not able to handle what I'm throwing at it. Whether it's actually broken or not already, I'm not sure, or if I'm just overworking it so hard that it's going into protect mode too frequently to tolerate. But at any rate, we're going to ditch Pioneer, and we're going to go with a setup that we recently put in my friend's Honda, and that my other friend has been following this company for a while and noticing some really good stuff coming from them. CT Sounds, we're going to try one of their 5-channel D-class amps for the solution. And to be honest, I'm going to try to put it in as quickly as possible because I want to bring this thing up north with me when I go in a few days, and I don't want to not have music.